Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. That's dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Matt, today is going to be a fun show. I hope so. We have no fights coming up this weekend, but we have our pal Jason Parillo, great striking coach, is going to be with us the whole show. So we might as well bring Jason in now.
Yeah, Jimmy.
We don't want to have Jason Parillo
Jason
waiting.
Parillo. He's a fun hang, man.
Yes, he certainly is.
I like Jason.
Let's see.
Look at him.
Let me see.
Looks like he's about to get a mugshot or something with that background. Where are you?
I know. I don't have a proper podcast station over here at my house, so I just.
Like you did something about a nice white wall behind you. It's good.
Yeah, you got the black wall. I got the white.
Like you're in prison.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm not too far out.
Jason Parillo, what up, man? Why do you look younger? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? What do you got going on?
It must be that stem cell I got.
Did you get that? Did you get the one with the IV that goes through your body type of thing?
Yeah, I went out to Bioaccelerator out in Colombia.
My buddy Abe just went down there, one of my black belts. And he said he does that. He gets the shit pumped through his body. He said he wasn't able to put his arms above his shoulders. And now I don't know.
What do they do? They take your blood out and spin it? How does it work?
No, they actually give you stem cells out of umbilical cords. So from what I understand, I probably should have educated myself a little bit more on it, for the fact that they were going to put it in my body. But yeah, they take newborn babies and they take the umbilical cord from the newborn babies, and then they do something with that. I don't know exactly. The lab's actually right there. I mean, you're literally sitting in the room where you get the IV, and you can see the doctors inside the lab right next to you, breaking it down and doing what they do, spinning it or whatnot.
Yeah.
And they take it straight from there and put it in your body. Now, I got injections directly put into my elbows. That's what I went there for. But they also gave me the IV bags, which goes through your whole body. And
how long does it take?
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Go ahead. What?
No. You were asking if it makes you nauseous, right?
Does it make you nauseous when you get the IV bag? I heard it might.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things I was all right. I just got really, really tired. And I was pretty fatigued for a good 5-6 hours, but that was really the extent of it. And then when they put it like in the elbows, the shoulders, from what I understand, the knees and the hips are supposed to be the most painful. Elbows pretty painful, but I mean, my elbows are constantly in pain as it is. So it was like nothing new kind of thing. But yeah, everybody's got a little different side effects to it, but it only lasts maybe a day or two, the pain or the nausea or whatnot. And then you feel fine.
Do you feel better now that you've done it? Do you notice an improvement?
I do, but from what I understand, it's a 3 to 6 month process. The stem cells have to come into your body and acclimate to your body or whatnot, because they don't have a real genetic code on them. Right when they come to, they don't have even the genetic code onto the fetus that they just came from.
Right.
So the cells go into your body and they have to connect with the code of your body, I guess. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Oh, scientist Parillo.
How long does it take? How long are you sitting there with the IV bag?
Oh, the IV bag's it's like a 45-minute process. It's like I got 2 IV bags. So it was a 5-day trip. I went out there I got there on Sunday afternoon, and I left the following Saturday. And they really give you a quote unquote somewhat of a vacation type of experience as well. They go and they give you a little tour of Medellin, and you get to go check out the culture of the country and whatnot. But it's a day. Each day you're doing something new. You're doing hyperbaric chambers. You're doing cold stuff. hyperbaric chambers, and you're doing an IV one day, then you're doing the injections another day, then you do an IV again the following day, and then and they monitor you the entire time. And I think that's why they like to have you out there for 5 days, is so they make sure that it's a real clean process.
Why can't you do that shit here, Jimmy? Why?
It's about the stem cells, and I believe it's religious groups objecting to the use of stem cells. I think that's what it is, where they're more limited on stem cells in the U.S. Am I correct, Jason, or is that wrong?
Yeah, well, well, they do it here in the U.S. They do. I got a friend, a surfer friend, Billy Kemper, who just had it done 2 days ago out here in L.A. And they basically take it from they take the stem cells from you. So they'll go into your spine or whatnot. They'll go into your body, and I think that's what you're talking about, Jimmy, as far as spinning. I think they take your own stem cells and do something with that. I don't know if it's like, what's that blood thing they do with you? Matt, you might know.
Yeah, Dana did that when he had that thing with his ear.
Yeah, Meniere's. Yeah,
they took out his blood and they spun it.
It's called platelets. I forget what it's called.
I don't know.
Something with PRP, like PRP, I think it's called.
PRP, and they inject it back into you.
Yeah, I think it's more of a PRP type of thing. But the difference is with that, they're taking a 50-year-old guy's stem cells and spinning them and putting them back in there. With what they're doing in Colombia, they do in Peru, I believe, they do in Tijuana. What they do out of the country is they're taking it from an infant's umbilical cord, so it's a whole different. So you're getting some pretty fresh cells from what I understand.
Good. I was going to say,
in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it maybe is really effective, and maybe it really does something for people. And we all know at the end of the day, it's who wants to cure anything around here? They want to make sure everybody stays a little bit sick.
Sure, yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't need the medication, or you wouldn't need to come back.
Right, exactly.
It's like making a tire that never pops. There's no reason for that, because you'd never buy fucking tires again.
There you go. That's facts.
Hey, what would happen if you got one of those stem cell shots into your cack? Never mind. Listen, I'm sure it's great for it.
I believe they do that. They do that. Yeah, it treats ED for people as well. I mean, it does. I mean, it does sound like a miracle cure, and there's a lot of believers in it. I mean, it's a really nice facility. Yeah, they do very well, and they treat so many people.
Even if you don't have ED, maybe if you get a shot, it'll give you like a super cock. Anyway,
and you stay, Jason, you stay in the building?
Yeah, well, they got a hotel. They set you up in a hotel, which is the building. The office is actually in the mall there. It's a mall, and the hotel that you're staying at is directly connected to the mall. So when you come down to breakfast in the morning, you have breakfast, and you walk out the room, and you're right in the mall. And the hospital, the facilities inside the mall is very nice. It's basically the Beverly Hills of Medellin. I mean, it's a really nice area. It's a beautiful building. I mean, it's really first class treatment.
Okay.
First class. You go, you get a shot in your cack. You go, then you see a movie and get a frozen yogurt. All within the hour. Hey, you had him sold on plumping up your penis.
That's all I needed to hear.
Did you see the fights? Did you see the fights this past weekend?
I didn't see them all. I was actually in the middle of cooking and barbecuing during the fights. But yeah, I saw some of them. I saw a few of them. I saw the one that got stopped, a little funny.
Nikolas Motta against let me look up who he fought. Trey Ogden. I think that was a no contest because Mike Beltran, I thought he was out, but he wasn't out during the head and arm.
You gotta feel for Trey in this one.
Yeah, he was winning.
Even though, listen, I don't know. It's a tough call, but
you call it no contest. I think so. I mean, the kid's losing the fight no matter what. I mean, that doesn't get stopped. That goes to the car. The kid loses the fight. Yeah. So I mean, no contest. It's a crime. Yeah.
How much time was left?
It was
2 minutes, maybe.
Under 2 minutes, because it happened in 3:11 of the third round. Trey had him in that head and arm choke, and he wasn't. Let's say he wasn't getting out. He didn't look close to getting out. So, like, to rob this guy of half of his money is pretty fucking crazy. So I don't blame Trey for being like, look. In other words, The ref stopped it. I didn't stop it. Why am I getting penalized here? I was winning. I would have won. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's crazy. He kept his cool. I hope they did the right thing by him. I believe they probably would.
I don't see why they would. No, knowing the UFC, I feel like they would be pretty good about making sure that guy gets his win. Because he won, like you said, he's winning the fight. Yeah. And they stopped the fight. Do you see that where they stop a fight like that as well and then change the decision to a no? It was really a weird situation, if you ask me, because to all of a sudden go from, okay, they can go home and cry, oh, that fight should have been stopped. And should have he stopped it right there? I don't think so, because you could tell the problem is that guy, when he was in that head, if he made any movement with his body, even if he tried to do the thumb, you know what I mean?
Right.
If he tried his hand,
he's losing it. He needed to hold on to every bit of his fucking.
Yeah. He was holding under his arm, right? With his thumb was actually under Ogden's arm.
100%. He didn't give him a thumbs up.
In the arm, his hand was available, and the referees like to say, "Hey, let me know you're there." He couldn't talk. He couldn't gurgle. He couldn't do anything. He had to sit there. If he made any physical attempt to say he was all right, even if it was out of his voice, he would have got submitted. You know what I mean? So the kid's in a tough spot that's getting choked. But at that same time, the guy that's beating him is beating him the whole fight. I mean, he's kicking his ass. He's jabbing his face into fucking tomorrow and really just doing a number on the kid. So I mean, the biggest crime on that fight. Yes, the money is the biggest is a huge crime. But giving that guy a no contest, he should have a W on his record for that fight.
And the odds are we knew that Motta was probably not going to get out of that. But it is when it's a referee fuck up. I mean, you don't see them usually that egregious. But he fucked up, and Nikolas sat right up and said, "I didn't tap." So in a way, like you are robbing Trey. But if you give him a win, and there's if there's 5 seconds left, but if there's 2 full minutes left, his argument is, how do you know I wasn't gonna get out of that? And again, which I don't think he would have.
The argument was you're getting your ass kicked the entire fight.
Yeah, he was.
To be fair, I mean, God bless that guy. I don't know him from Adam, and no disrespect to him, but the guy's gonna lose 30-27 regardless. Yeah, whether he gets stopped or not. Beltran's a hell of a referee too. That's what I feel bad for the referee, because you ref thousands of fights, and you get a fuck up like that. It will haunt you for a minute.
Maybe in that one they should have went to the judges' cards, because, like you said, if it's going to be 30-27, so maybe isn't there a thing where if it goes a certain amount of time, they'll go to the judges? Maybe it's during an injury or something like that, where
if there's a foul and it goes over 2 rounds. I believe it. In boxing, it was 4 rounds or more. They'll go to the judges' scorecards. In the MMA, I want to say it's 2 rounds, which had already gone 2 rounds, which is the 3rd round. It would have been a really fair. I think that would have really pleased everybody if they decided to go to the judge's scorecard. I mean, you're absolutely right, Jim, with that. If they went to the judge's scorecard on that, I don't think anybody would have a complaint about that.
And can I just say, Nikolas, he could be upset about that. He should be sending him a fucking holiday present after. He should be thanking the referee, saying, "Hey, listen, I don't got a loss on my record. I was getting half the money anyway. All right, I'll take it." Listen, Trey's the one who should be. That's like, you got to be kidding me. I did everything right. You screwed me. The other kid, all right, he should be actually thanking the ref. I know the warrior spirit in him was like, "No, I didn't quit, dude. If you were either going to go to sleep or you were losing anyway. So this is a fucking gift."
Is there no way to Matt? Is there no way to reset the position like they do sometimes? Is there no way to reset it when the ref stops it? That's it. Can't he just go, "Look, I made a mistake," and reset that position?
I don't believe so, man. I don't want to go back to Big John McCarthy when he was reffing Murillo Bustamante versus Matt Linland back in the day. That's an old school fight. Old school. Murillo had the fight, basically submitted him twice because he had him in a full-blown arm lock. The ref broke it up. And then, Linland's like, "What's up, man?" And he goes, they had to start him from scratch again, standing up. And he ended up getting him in a guillotine, I believe. So props to the legend Murillo Bustamante, who people probably don't even remember. A lot of people don't. I mean, that's mean to say. I mean, a lot of new people don't know him.
Yeah.
Throw his name. You know who I'm talking about, Jason Parillo. Murillo Bustamante. At least I hope you do. Listen, what a fucking legend. But He had to submit Matt Lindland twice because Big John McCarthy messed that up. So they didn't start him back in the arm lock.
Well, also he was so deep in that he was so deep in that submission.
Yeah.
I don't know how there would have been no really justice of they'd have to put him in as deep as he can go and then start the belt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then start it, and that would be a difficult start.
Sure.
You guys see the Putalava versus Perez fight with those tough ladies? Do you guys see that one?
I saw every fight.
The two Brazilian girls.
Yes. Yeah.
What a great fight that was.
Yes, they're Brazilian. Yeah. No, one's Brazilian. I don't know what flag that is. What is Putalava? What is that?
Wait, are you who am I thinking? I'm thinking of the 115 pounders, the straw weights, where the one girl came.
He busts against
Parillo? I definitely want to talk about Amanda Rivas because I was so.
Oh yeah, Amanda Rivas.
I was talking about. Excuse me, Perez versus Putalava
on the prelims.
Prelims.
I did see that because my girl loves to watch girl fights.
Putalava is
she's Czech. Thank you, Jake.
So and she came on in that third round, and the first 2 rounds was Perez just out grappling her. What I noticed by both girls was when they're on top, they are dangerous as heck. When they're on bottom, not so much. And that goes for Perez, where she was looking fantastic in those first 2 rounds. On bottom, she took a beating in the third round, and Putalava came on strong. But what was hysterical is after Perez wins, she her way of celebrating, she likes to twerk or put her legs up in the cage and shake her ass or just stick her butt out. So she's doing that. Meanwhile, they're like, "Oh, she won." They pan to her little 8-year-old kid in the audience, "Mommy." Then they go back to the cage and she's No, hey Perez, there's a time and a place. Your kid's in the audience, but I had to listen. I don't know. I just thought this fucking hysterical.
Yeah, because you see it and know what's going on. She has no idea they're panning into her kid in the audience while she's doing the twerk.
Well, I don't know. Listen, your kid's out there. You celebrate any way you want to celebrate. I'm not judging. I used to do little handstands.
Yeah.
But anyway, to each their own.
Didn't you do the one-armed cartwheel or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I did. Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah.
I did that after I knocked out Frank Trigg.
Oh, what a great win.
Yeah, Frank Trigg. Anyway, Jimmy.
Frank Trigg. He's a ref now, isn't he?
He's a ref, yes.
Yeah, he's reffing now. He's looking a little porkly.
Our buddy Chase Hooper. What a great sub over Jordan Levitt, man. What a great fight that was.
Yeah, that was right. Yeah, Jimmy, I was about to bring him up. How did you know I was
going to bring him up? You didn't know what to expect. I mean, that was a fucking
fest.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I hoped for. It was what I was anticipating, and it delivered because I wanted to see a nice exchange in the grappling. I want to see some nice exchanges, some scrambles, and that's exactly what we got. And if I remember correctly, how was it? A rear naked choke? Was that what he got?
It was, yeah.
And that was off of a back take off a leg lock. So it was there was a lot going on there, man. I really enjoyed. I would like to watch that again.
Wasn't Chase going for a leg lock first, and then Levitt grabbed it and actually broke the leg lock by going for his leg? Didn't he get out of it by going for a leg lock of his own?
I think you're right. There was something.
I'd have to watch it again, to be honest. But I remember it just being somebody's on the receiving end, and next thing you know, they're out. Now they're on top, and then it was very fluent, and there was some strikes.
I wish there was a little strike. I would have liked to see those two. I mean, of course, I would like to see that, but I would like to see, how they both have been developing on their feet, because, that's an important part of the game too, as well. I mean, grappling is, is another level, and you want to have that highest grappling you got, but it'd be nice to see how both those kids were improving on their feet, for me, at least.
Hey, I got a question for you, Coach. How frustrating is it? Dun, dun, dun. Listen, how frustrating is it when you see your pupil, or former pupil, Mackenzie Dern, and she's out there, and this is what I'll tell you from an outside point of view. Some of the stuff she's landing is not bad. I just feel like she's not, I don't want to say relaxed. it looks almost forced. I know the chin was coming up a bit, but she doesn't look. I don't know. She did not look so comfortable throwing, but yet some of the stuff she throwing was not bad. But it's just, but to do that with a girl like Jessica Andrade, it's almost like she was worried already about the counter strike. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You tell me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I just know that Mackenzie's come a long way. I think she started this sport very green on her feet, very just very blind on her feet. She had really no concept of what she's doing really. But she's a good athlete. She's a hell of an athlete, and she's a quick learner. But at the same time, I saw a lot of bad. Those habits were still there with her. Why I was working with her, it was something I was trying to develop out of her. I tried to, work the wrinkles out of what she does, but as far as bad habits, and that takes some time. I was concerned about her going to that fight, knowing that she wasn't there yet. It wasn't part of her natural ability to have the proper fundamentals as far as, because she in that fight, to me, she was coming straight there. A lot of her bad habits that I've seen, before she came to start working, she was up in the air, she's going straight back, her hand positioning, her base, everything was just kind of back to a greener state, I should say, of what I saw in her when I first started working with her. And it's amazing to see that happen, because as a coach, you learn it again yourself. You learn that, it's something that it's a repetitive motion. It's stuff that you got to stay with, week in, month in, year out, and develop to where it's part of your makeup, to where you fight this way, not to where you go back to fighting like quote unquote, I don't mean to say an amateur, but somebody that, really doesn't have, all the, the experience of the world to be in a high level top 10 type of fight.
Can I ask you too? We have my mic just fell. Hold on.
That was great. Hey, Jake.
Did you see? Yeah, my mic just fell.
That blunder. Go ahead.
I have a thing up here which is really fucked up, and I'm very annoyed that just happened. Anyway, we had Mackenzie on last week, and she was saying that sometimes she's allowing other things to kind of get into her head, like things like she wants to fight a certain way so people don't think certain things. She was very open about it. So I thought of that when I was watching her fight. Did you think there were moments where she might have been able to take Andrade down, but she wanted to prove that she could stand with it, or did you not see those moments? Maybe I was wrong.
I think it's always kind of in the back of their head, but Mackenzie's a bright girl. I mean, she thinks a lot, and she overthinks as well, just like we all do, I think she was probably looking for the opportunity, but again, her base really floated up. What happens is when you're high, when you lose your base like that, when you're not, I try to talk about this as politically correct as I can, because
Sure.
This is somebody that I really care about or cared about as well. I don't work or talk to Mackenzie anymore, but I'm always rooting for my ex-fighters, because
Sure.
It doesn't do me any justice to root against them. She just, I think she had a hard time, because Mackenzie, that's something that was part of the development, as well as working on taking these girls down. There's a wrestling base that I would have liked her to develop a little bit better as well, or put a lot of time into. I mean, wrestling is a very valuable sport, as we all know in this game, especially when you want to take the fight to the ground. I think wrestling is probably one of the best ways to go to learn and develop to get your opponent to the ground. I think she was having a hard time seeing the opportunity to take Jessica down. You got to remember, Jessica's an ex-world champion. She's got tremendous experience. She's been in there with high-level wrestlers, and she knows how to read her opponent. Now if her opponent's sitting in front of her, and she's not, and she's showing this green state of mind in this base, and just kind of, she could tell that. You could tell, and Matt, you could back me up on this one. When you're sitting in front of someone, you could tell whether how they're feeling and what's going through their head. And it's a crazy, us watching on TV, us watching it for the crowd, can't see the same thing that the two athletes that are standing in front of us, in front of each other see, or in matter of fact, feel, so my guess is Jessica could feel that Mackenzie didn't have the wherewithal in the makeup and the base to shoot on her. I don't think it was something that she was even concerned with, because she could tell by the way Mackenzie was emotionally fighting in there that it wasn't posing a threat to her.
She wasn't. She saw the punches coming. Even when she got hit with them, she was ready just to fire back. She is one of the better, more powerful girls, Andrade. As far as
she's probably if not, I mean there's a couple other that can crack a little bit, but she's definitely the heavier punchers in the division.
I can see her cracking some dudes her size. Hey, while we're talking about the ladies, Amanda Ribas versus Luana Pinheiro. First of all, that Luana is no joke either. She was coming after her, trying to take her head off. But as the fight went on, Amanda got better and better. And by the third round, even though she got caught, she was lumped up. But man, she was putting it together nicely. And that was just it was a fun fight.
Yeah,
it showed you that Amanda Ribas really wanted it to me, and it was just, and she had a worthy opponent. I enjoyed that fight a lot.
That was my favorite fight of the night. I think. Tell me they each got $50K.
I hope so.
Ribas up. No bonuses. Fight of the night, performance of the night bonuses though. Oh yeah, Ribas did get a bonus. Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
what the fuck did I just do? Hold on. Oh, there we go. And Nick, where the fuck did it go? Nick Aguirre. I just lost my fucking thing. Who was versus
Peyton Talbot? Yeah.
Versus who?
Peyton Talbot.
Peyton Talbot.
Yeah.
He loves to do the Abbott and Costello thing, Jason. I'd like to play along with him.
I just didn't think of it today, but I'm glad Matt took the stick on that one.
But Talbot had a rough first round, man, getting out grappled. But Nick, and even how did it go to the second round? Nick was on him too the second round, I believe. But then Talbot, he kept his undefeated record. He ended up getting him out of there in the third round. And Nick, talk about somebody he didn't look that confident with his stand. We're talking about people not looking confident with their stand-up. I think Nick, even though his grappling looked very, very good, he knew he was outgunned standing with Talbot. You didn't see the fight, Jay?
I don't know what fight you're exactly talking
about.
Well,
this young kid, Peyton Talbot, he's 7-0 now. And he got a rear naked choke in that third round. He started taking away the takedowns nice. But the first couple of rounds, he was having a hard time with the grappling with this kid, Nick. But as the fight went on, he ended up having his way. But I think you have to address that wrestling, because some of the guys, I mean, it wasn't awful. And you got to give credit to Nick for getting him down. But he's going to be dealing with that again with other guys in that division. So, but I don't know. It was a fun fight. I don't know. We also talked about the
I ended up watching the co-main event, which was the Ecuadorian kid, the undefeated
Morales against Matthews. What a good fight that was.
Yeah, that was a fight.
Michael's undefeated, 16-0. Michael Morales against Jake Matthews.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That Jake Matthews showed a lot of guts too. I mean,
yes,
that was a really close fight as well. I mean, there's a lot of expectations on that Morales, or is it Morales?
Yeah,
Morales. Yeah, Mike Morales kid. That was a great fight. Close fight too. I ended up walking out to go to, I think, Home Depot or something after that fight. So I wasn't able to watch the main event with Craig and who was it? Paul Craig?
Brendan Allen.
Yeah, I was at fight.
Yeah, you didn't see it?
Brendan Allen dominated. I think he subbed in the third. Yes, it was the third, but he dominated the first 2 rounds. He was, which was surprising to me, because Paul was fighting at light heavyweight for a long time. So I thought that, again, having a little bit of a lighter fighter, but that just didn't matter. Brendan Allen felt a lot bigger.
a lot of times, when the guys come down, it's hit or miss sometimes. Guys coming down, it benefits them sometimes, and sometimes it hurts them. It's pretty crazy that he was able to submit that guy, because I think Craig has a pretty freakish submission type of guy, which you'd think that could defend. If you could submit guys that way, you'd think that you could defend it the same way. So I don't know.
A lot of guys wouldn't want to be with him down there, but Brendan, he stayed with him down there, and he matched him down there, and then he ended up besting him down there. And I like the way he sunk that rear naked choke in. It was there was nowhere for Craig to go. He knew he was just caught, and he beat him at his own game, which is always impressive.
And he had him in the first 2 rounds in bad positions, but Craig is just such a good guy on the bottom and so solid that he just couldn't put him away, because he kept doing those things that just made it, like little leg positions Dominic was talking about a lot, things you don't think of a lot that just make you almost impossible to submit. And then finally in the third, he just couldn't do it anymore.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You say, Jay.
I think Craig, for some reason, he's just so comfortable off his back, and he gets a lot of submissions, triangles from his back, which is great, but it's not for me. It's probably not the best base to have, or the best mentality to have is to be the guy that always wins off his back, because that's going to catch up to you, especially as you get a little bit higher up the rankings. Everybody can really fight once you start getting, in the top 20 or whatnot, top 15. But sure, I mean, unfortunately, he said, I didn't see it. How was it on their feet? Did they fight on their feet at all?
Not a lot. I mean, it didn't stay on the feet very long.
Yeah.
But what the hell was I about to say? Me and my ADD.
I was talking about Craig, locking up Brendan Allen's legs.
I got it. Yes.
I thought it was about Costello. I thought it was something about Costello.
Man. Listen, what I really like with Craig on bottom is not just his offense. Obviously, his submissions are amazing, but I remember, and this is something I kept in mind when I was training and working my bottom game. And Henzo would say, when you're messing with somebody's balance on top, it's not just a sweep. Picture when someone's trying to strike you. Say I'm trying to knock out you standing up, Jason, and somebody has me behind, grabbing my shoulders and traps and just shaking me, and I'm trying to knock you out. So what Paul Craig does on bottom, when Brendan Allen from mounted, especially mounted, half guard, name the position, anytime he's on bottom, when he's trying to, when Brendan's looking to land these blows, he's offsetting his balance. He's locking the leg down, going underneath him. Even though these sweeps aren't working, he's gaining some real estate back, and he's messing with the balance where he can't land the punishing blows that's going to end the fight. So I was very impressed with that. It's something I'm like, look, every position, I go, now he's going to work him over. Oh, he's not, because he can't keep his base. So even though he ended up losing, I was very impressed with that. So I wanted to mention that. That's something that some people might not catch on to. They just look, oh, he's just not getting out. Yeah, but he's also not getting destroyed with a murderer on top of him.
Oh yeah, guy's a stud. He's a stud off his back. There's no denying that. I'm just saying he's very comfortable. He's very comfortable going there, because he knows how comfortable he is there, because he can keep you off balance the entire time, and he's very sneaky. He's going to catch up to you and catch you in something too off of his back. But like I said, I think as you climb the ladder, it gets a little harder, especially when your opponent studies you and knows that's where your main base is, that's where your main game is, and that's where you find most of your success. It's not that it's one dimensional, but it's not for me. I'm not a grappler, especially a great grappler like yourself, Matt. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's I think that there should be some development going in other aspects of his game. So that could be, the last resort, if you have to be in that position. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. I don't know these guys, and I can't knock them or what they do in training, because, they are where they're at. I mean, their main event tells me that they're doing something.
Hey man, listen, if I burst onto the scene a jiu-jitsu guy, and if I didn't evolve, which I had to, I would never have won the title. You know what I mean? So I love an omoplata as much as the next guy, but Thank God I'm blessed with heavy hands. White boy. Now listen, what else was I gonna fucking say? Oh, the first night of the fight of the night was Medic versus
Oh yeah.
Orabali.
Stepped up on 4 days' notice. This guy. I'll get you the name. Mikdebek or Lobby, I think. Let me make sure. I want to pronounce his name.
Because he's a stud.
Yes, yeah. It wasn't the first fight of the night though, Matt. It was
the first card on the main card. The welterweight fight on the main card.
On the main card. Sorry, yes. Yeah, Uros Medic against Mikdebek or Lobby.
What weight was that? Was that
Welterweight.
Welterweight. And man, this kid, that was I mean, he's a powerhouse, that Orlobby. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Orlobby.
Keep an eye out for him, Jimmy. What else, guys?
I wanted to ask Jason, because obviously now you have Chito against O'Malley, that rematch, which, there was obviously the injury in the first fight. What do you think, because at times Chito doesn't start as fast as he could, but again, it's worked out very well for him. What do you think he needs to do against O'Malley? Obviously not giving away strategy, but what do you think O'Malley's strength is, and what do you think Chito needs to do?
Well, just to clear things up for 1 second, is that was an injury that was caused. That was
yes, by Chito, yeah,
from a strike.
Yes, he won the fight.
Compare that to a liver shot. You punch a guy in the liver, it shuts your legs down. And,
yes,
it's a significant strike, is what it is.
Parillo.
Yeah, Chito won that fight. Yeah,
hold on, please, everybody, please. I want to apologize on behalf of my friend, Coach. Listen to me. He's shit all over your win. Jimmy.
That's
please.
not true.
Jimmy,
I will not allow you
Jimmy,
to. Yes.
Jimmy, please.
Yes.
I gotta say this. I know Jason a long time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coach. What a fucking little shit. You won that fight. You won it. He's sipping the hold on. He's sipping the Kool-Aid. He's sipping the Sugar Sean Kool-Aid, where Sugar Sean is amazing. He said it so many times that it wasn't a loss that he's got people fucking believing it.
That's incorrect. It's clearly a loss, and it was caused by Chito, but meaning they didn't get to go. Again, they didn't fight for very long.
I understand what you're saying.
Of course. Yeah, he clearly won that fight. It's a loss
we saw 3 or 4 minutes of those two fighting. And we didn't really see a lot of action. We saw, we did see O'Malley did hit, throw his big right hand. He threw a sniper punch, and the thing about Chito is he absorbs shots differently than these guys, a lot of these guys. I mean, in part of his game, sure, is starting late, but also he likes to dissect his guy. He likes to sit in front of him. He likes to feel him, and that's something that I've been really working on with him, trying to get him out of there, especially if we're fighting a 3-round fight. See, the fact that we're fighting a 5-round fight is beautiful because we don't have to change much from from what he's been developing more and more. He's had both of them have come leaps and bounds since the first time they fought as well. They both have fought, I think, I want to say 6-7 fights apiece, between now and their last fight. And they both have been there with, the highest of caliber guys and have some great sweet wins. So they've both been improved quite a bit. Fortunately, it being a 5-round fight and the style of Sean O'Malley, I don't have to get on Chito's ass and put fire in his feet and fucking fire up his ass and make him fucking push so hard the first round. I don't feel like we really necessarily have to do that. Because one, I don't know how many 5-round fights O'Malley has at this point. I'd have to go back and look again. I forget. But I think Chito definitely lies with more experience in the area of longer fights. Chito has it. Chito it's very solid as far as reading and reacting to punches and kicks and whatnot. For me, Chito, I really feel can break. I mean, the fight could go pretty much. I would say I can't necessarily say a similar direction because hitting that leg kick and hitting that nerve is like, again, like hitting a body shot. You hit the liver, you hit it clean, and the night's a quick one for you. But we're not going to fight obviously looking like we're going to get O'Malley out of there in the first round, because nor that I would like to, me just personally, just watching it from the corner, I'd like to see it go a little longer. I'd like to see a good fight. Chito, I feel Chito's style matches up with Sean O'Malley perfectly, with the style of fighter that that O'Malley is, the mentality of O'Malley, and the experience of O'Malley. I think we're this is a type of fight that I think Chito wins more times than not. Unless Chito's going to decide to do something different in his life, he's going to decide to go to the bar and party. He's going to decide to take off the gas pedal and not train as hard as he normally does. And, Chito's such a hard worker and so determined and so driven to be a world champion in the UFC that, it's hard for me to think that this is not going to be his time, but, anything can happen in a fight. And O'Malley is for me, I think O'Malley's a game day player. I don't think the same guy shows up in the gym. I know people from the gym, and I hear how training goes here and there. And I just think that it's like Aljo. I mean, everybody and their mother thought Aljo was going to, wipe the floor with O'Malley, and he sniped him out of there. He got him out of there with one shot pretty much at the end of the day. And he's got that in his back pocket at all times. I just feel with Chito's durability and his intelligence out there is just great. He's not the type of guy you go out and just snipe out of there.
Well, Jason, you said something too, which I thought when you started, which is about the 5-round experience and going deep in the fight. There was that controversial win over Petr Yan, which, if I remember correctly, I think Yan won that fight over. It was a 3-round fight with O'Malley. And Aljo would have been a 5-round fight, but it stopped in 2. But his decision wins, O'Malley's decision wins, came in like 2018. So, I mean, again, I'm sure he trains for 5 rounds when he's fighting 5 rounds, but he hasn't gone deep into fights with the caliber of fighter that Marlon has. So I think that's a huge advantage as the fight goes on for Vera.
100%. And that's 100%. And there's no giving away a game plan as far as having that conversation, because that's just, the facts about it. O'Malley knows this. Just people know this. You know this. I know this. We all know this. And we know that Chito could get stronger as the fight goes on. We don't know how O'Malley reacts as the fight goes on because we haven't seen it. Like you said, if it's been 2018, and who was that opponent against? It wasn't against anybody we know. And
Sukumtat was one guy, Andre Sukumtat, I think, and I forget who the other fighter was. I have to go and check.
Well, that wasn't a top.
What about that? What's the kid that was taking a beating that whole time? Did they stop it after a while?
It wasn't the green hair kid. I think that was a 3-round fighter. I think that was a fight.
Was rough.
And he was like a late addition, right? He was like a late. Wow, yeah, Chris Mutino, yep.
Well, he comes in off of. He came in off of the streets too. What I mean by the streets is he wasn't a UFC fighter. He wasn't even on the roster. He was a late replacement, and and he was a tough kid and was able to give him a little bit of not a run for his money, but give him some, agitate him a little bit, let him know that he's still there. So. A 5-round fight definitely for me benefits us in the grand scheme of things.
Now, Jason, let me see here. Let me do the math. I don't like doing math, but let me do it because it's not, it can't be that high. But you have Michael Bisping. I know you worked a lot with Cyborg. I know you worked with BJ Penn. I'm not sure if it was when he was on his title. How many champions did you have now? Definitely Bisping. Who else? I don't know.
You have UFC world champions. When Chito Vera wins the title in March, will be 4 UFC world champions. It'll be BJ Penn, Michael Bisping, Chris Cyborg, and Chito Vera.
That's wild. That's wild, Jimmy. Jimmy, you know who thought of that question? This guy.
The great Matt Serra.
Listen to me, Jason Parillo. You deserve a lot of credit for that. You got fucking more. How many? Listen to me. Longo's had 3 champions. If you get this next fight,
I'll have as much champions as probably any of the coaches in the game. But I don't. But for me, I that's what the beautiful thing about. I've always prided myself in staying right underneath the radar and not. And my fighters don't come from a gym full of fighters.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? These are all very individually trained and spend years on end with these individuals and these athletes, and
They're
develop.
all different, Jason. You're not cookie cutter. Like you have Michael Bisping, you have like Cyborg. They don't all fight the same way, but
No, they're all different.
you cater to how do you approach each one of them? They're all different fighters and they all have a great striking skill set thanks to you. But how do you tailor to them particularly? Like, what do you?
Well, I train everybody as an individual. I know I can have any corny cliche answer to any of these questions because people have been answering these questions for eternity, and everybody tries to sound as smart as they can. But really, it helps when I connect with the fighter as well. I mean, I'm actually in the next handful of months going to be opening a public gym, so I will probably have a room of a lot of athletes at the same time, which I haven't done in quite some time. But
you opening a school? What is going on?
Yeah, open up a gym. Yeah, because we closed up my gym Ruka, and we're moving on. And
that was there for a while. Was there a lot of was it emotional? You had that school for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't so much. I knew it was going to happen for a while, and for me, it was probably more. I'm probably a little bit more excited about it than down about it, only because it was a business it was impossible, not impossible, but it was a situation where I couldn't really run my business out of there. I mean, I ran the gym, but it was more or less for my athletes, my fighters, and it was a small group of people. That's what I'm saying. Like Cyborg won her title out there. BJ defended his world title out of there. That's we originally opened it up with BJ, back in the later 2000s. I mean the mid 2000s, but and it was to get BJ out of Hilo because we had some success. We defend. When I started working with BJ, he was coming off 2 losses. He didn't have a world title. He was fighting Jens Pulver to rematch. Jens Pulver had lost to Jens in their original match. We beat Jens. We went on. Joe Stevenson won the world title, defended the world title, and then he went and fought GSP to fight for the lightweight fighting against a welterweight. Fell short in that fight. So we decided because we were training in Hawaii. I was staying in Hawaii for a good part of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And we decided, okay, we got to get out of Hilo for a while. That we wanted to blame the environment for that loss, but really, at the grand scheme of things, it was a lightweight fighting a welterweight. And there's a size difference. And what happens is when they fought the first time, BJ wasn't a genuine lightweight. He was a blown up. He was right in between. You don't realize you actually condition your body and bring it down in the right way over a couple year period of time. You're now a real lightweight, and then he went in there against a real welterweight. But that's neither here nor there. The thought process was we got to get out of Hilo, get in a new environment. So we opened up Ruka specifically for BJ, and he was defending his world title. I think it was against Kenny Florian, I believe. And And then we had 2 fights out of there. We had Kenny Florian fight that we rematched, or that we had to defend against Diego Sanchez as well.
Oh, that was a good fight. That's when he was in his peak, like when he beat.
Oh yeah, that's when he was in his prime. Head kick was when he was the best BJ Penn in the world. That's 100% facts. And anybody want to go to bat on that one, I'll sit here all fucking day long. The difference with BJ was such a well-known fighter too. When I got a hold of him, like I said, he was coming off a couple losses. It was his first fight back in the UFC, and he wasn't. People don't know the steps and the years and the amount of time I spent with BJ, both physically and mentally. Helping him out and trying to help him be the best he can be. And that's really, to answer your question, Matt. And in the grand scheme of things, is I develop a relationship. I know it sounds corny, but I develop a relationship with these guys. I mean, we all know a lot of people know techniques and they know fundamentals and they know this and they know that, but you got to really know how to fight, and you got to know how to think and how to handle things out there. And I think it plays a coach a lot of these guys can beat, if they're good enough athletes and good enough fighters, they can beat the 85% of the guys out there. That even 90%. Some of these guys are so athletic they can beat the 90% of those guys out there. To have somebody come in your life that can point you in the right direction, to actually give you those extra inches, those extra wrinkles in the game, to be able to get up into the top 95%, the top 898, 99, and to be the best in the world, you do need a little guidance. You do need a little help. People ask me the question for many years: is a champion born, or is he developed? And I always answer it a little bit of both. You need a little bit of both, because you have to be a born champ. You have to have that born championship mentality. You have to have the ability and the skill set, but you need those extra inches, to be the best in the world, because everybody that's coming to the table have that born mentality, have that born ability, but they also need those extra wrinkles, those extra inches to be the best in the world.
Now, and Jason, before we wrap too, there's one thing I wanted to ask you about, because Matt mentioned Bisping. And I'd love to ask your opinion too on Aspinall, who Bisping is saying that he thinks he's very high on Tom Aspinall, and he's thinking that he can beat Jones. I don't believe that he's going to beat him easily. I think Bisping is kind of saying that Aspinall would win pretty decisively. And didn't Cejudo, Matt, you alluded to Cejudo before. Did he say something about Aspinall?
Henry Cejudo, listen, we know he's what is he, a double champ? And we know he's a gold medalist in the Olympics. He's accomplished a lot, obviously. Kudos to him, bravo. But, dude, don't shit on a guy because Tom Aspinall, he's shitting on him that he got emotional getting the belt, saying it's not the real belt. It's like a second place trophy. And if he got the silver at the Olympics, he's not going to break down. And so he's like, you might as well paint that thing bronze or something. He's being kind of a dickhead about it. Yeah. And it's like, Cejudo, all right, dude, we know you're a super stud. This guy, you don't know his backstory. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But, you heard about what his father, all the time the father put into him and to develop him as a martial artist, and how he left his normal job just to teach jujitsu to help his son. And you hear about all the story of his journey. He's getting emotional, and you're sitting there shitting on him. You little fucker.
Yeah.
He works with John Jones too now, doesn't he?
Who, Henry?
Yeah, doesn't he work? Do they work together a little bit?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I just think that it was just a shitty comment, man. Even if you why you're shitting on this guy's moment? There's guys that want a regular fight and they get emotional just with nothing on the line.
Aspinall had a funny line, Matt. He said, "It doesn't matter to me what he says. He's 5'3". If he's talking, I probably won't hear him because of how far away he is."
Tom?
Tom Aspinall.
That is great. That is great. I'm a short man. I think that's hysterical.
He's a good dude, Tom. Me and Bisping had a conference call. He was interested in working with me a little bit. Obviously, he's in England, so that didn't work out. We actually were in the conversations about working together a little bit, me and Tom. But he ended up. It was right before he tore his knee in his last fight, or one of his last fights. I think if it wasn't the last fight, but the fight before that, maybe I want to say he tore his ACL or something along those lines, and we never reconnected. But yeah, and I think that Bisping's, really supportive, obviously, of his country mate, and that's his guy right now. So he's gonna talk the talk for him and really put him on a pedestal. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, John Jones is the tough guy to gamble against. It's somebody I wouldn't gamble against anytime soon. But Tom Aspinall definitely shows something different in that heavyweight division. I mean, with his size and his speed and his agility and the coordination, it's a matter of keeping his head right, really, obviously, at the same time, because with Henry Cejudo saying, "Oh, look how emotional," he's obviously an emotional guy. You can't knock him for celebrating and enjoying a big win like that.
Sure.
It was a big win. That guy's a monster he was there with.
Pavlovich is a devastating puncher.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
I mean, has Cejudo, he's laid some guys out. He should know how your adrenaline is, and And now you're facing your fears, you fight a monster like that, and you've seen him put many people to sleep. You're putting him down, and what do you think? I don't know. I think he's just being a dick.
Yeah.
And I like Henry enough, you know.
And he felt, by the way, Sergey landed in that fight, and he wobbled Aspinall. I mean, he hits like a fucking truck. So, I mean, Aspinall felt how hard he hits, and I definitely didn't expect Pavlovich to get knocked out in that first round. But Jones's thing is, isn't it amazing how he's so good, because no matter what you do well, he finds a way to neutralize that. Like, that's why he is the greatest to ever do it, because he's great at everything, and no matter what your specialty is, he has the answer for it, and it could be different every fight.
He's the GOAT. He really is the greatest of all time, especially in that division. I mean, he's a very intelligent fighter as well. And people don't take that into place because you can't see intelligence. You can't read intelligence. You can't, you can figure it out by talking to people, I think, here and there. But the guy's a very intelligent athlete, very intelligent fighter. And like you said, Jim, I mean, he knows how to neutralize what you do well. Now, Tom Aspinall at the end of the day does everything well. So, his grappling is phenomenal. His stand up, his speed, he really can be the future of the heavyweight division. I really agree with Michael Bisping on that one. It's just, as far as John Jones, who I like quite a bit, I think he's a great guy. That's a tough one to gamble against, but we'll see. Regardless, I do see Tom Aspinall as a big future for the heavyweight division. Because once he settles in a little bit more and gets a little bit more, emotional control out there, I think he's going to be, very difficult man to beat.
And Jason, really quick, we're gonna get out of here now. But your school, how soon till it opens? And I'm excited for you. I have an academy forever. I was there all morning. It's such a nice life. Is it going to be a little bit of both, like we were talking about before? Is it going to be for pro fighters
it's going to be open. It's going to be open to the public. So I'm going to have a section for the pros in the back. It's nice. A pretty nice building. I mean, it's a 10,000 square foot building, so I got a little room in there. I'm going to have it's going to be sectioned up, and I'm going to have it open to the public, but also open to, I'm going to have a separate room for the fighters.
Just fisticuffs, or is it going to be mixed martial arts, or is it just?
I'll have some jiu-jitsu in there, and some I'll have some grappling in there, and some boxing, kickboxing.
Where are you opening it? Yeah, and where?
What are you calling it?
I actually don't technically have a name just yet for it, but it's going to be in Costa Mesa. It's actually half a mile from my house where I'm at right now. I actually in the midst of. And I was actually going to head there. I was actually going to do this cast from the temporary spot because Pat Sonori, the founder of Ruka, the original Ruka guy, branch, me and him he left Ruka as well. And he's working on a new brand himself. And we're going to have the same type of facility that we had at Ruka at this new place. So I'll have a private gym there as well. But I'm also, owed my own place for a while,
It's good for you, man.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
happy for you, dude. You deserve that, man. And you're so good at your craft. And you know the deal, man. Even though you're like me, we spend a lot of time in the gym, in the academy. It's what we love. It's what we do. And you're getting those stems. I know you're getting those stem cells for your longevity in the sport, because I know you want to hold some pads too,
Exactly.
So, dude, hey, man, congrats on that. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And don't let Matt drive a wedge between us, thinking that I believe that O'Malley was undefeated. Matt does that because he doesn't want me being friends with other coaches.
You're my man. I watched you way before you did this shit. I watched your stand-up comedy for years, man. I'm a big fan of stand-up.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Jason.
And I've always told you that before, and that won't change, man.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great holiday, man. And Matt, I won't talk to you. Have a great Thanksgiving. We're off this Wednesday, but we'll talk to you soon, man. And I cannot wait for Marlon to get that shot against O'Malley. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Take care, buddy.
Coach.
All the best.
And Matt, have a great holiday. And to the staff who works hard for us, we appreciate that. And have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you guys next week.
Everybody, happy Turkey Day. And we'll talk after that, Jimmy. No, don't do it.
That's my turkey. I'm going to end on my turkey.
Bye, Jimmy.
Bye, buddy.